Hey friends, good morning. Today is Monday, April 27th, but here's the deal. So this week is going to be pajama week. So I have my cute little sock monkey pajamas on, and I'm going to send a picture to mom and dad to show you what my whole pajama onesie looks like. So hopefully you can wear your pajamas while you're listening to the videos and take a picture and have mom and dad send me a picture of it, okay? I would love to see you in your pajamas. Also, we're going to go ahead and do Mondays and Tuesdays work today. So go ahead and get out Monday's work and Tuesday's work, and we're going to do that today. So we're going to start out with the handwriting and the phonics, and then we're going to look at the math. So you have one paper in handwriting, one paper in phonics, and two papers in math. So go ahead and get those ready. If you want to get out your manipulatives or your B-book, you can go ahead and get that out too. Okay, I'll see you in just a second. Okay, so this is your handwriting paper and your phonics paper for Monday and Tuesday. So this handwriting paper was on Monday, and this phonics paper was on Tuesday. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do those today. Don't forget to be practicing your why verse. Why ye are the light of the world, Matthew 5:14. So don't forget to be practicing that one if you haven't started practicing why yet. So let's look at handwriting today. Pretty easy. I'm not going to go over everything with you. It was a seat work paper, so it was a practice paper anyway. So you just need to make sure that you're using those lines, okay? Use those lines because they're there to help you. Remember that this is the ceiling, this is downstairs, and this is the basement. Don't forget about that red carpet. You have not very many letters are in the basement, but you need to make sure that you're using that red carpet to stop, unless you have a letter like J or G that are in the basement. So house number 1 says, Ben got a big bike. So this must be Ben right here. You're going to trace it, write it on house 2. Don't forget that period because the sentence is telling us something. Number 3 says, he cannot ride it yet, period. It doesn't have training wheels on it. Some of you, I know you've been practicing while we haven't been in school, and you're already riding without training wheels, which is awesome. But apparently Ben can't do that yet. He needs some training wheels on there. So you're going to trace that on house 3, and then you're going to write it on house 4. Don't forget the period, okay? If you don't have that period on there, it's not a complete sentence. Remember, complete sentences, have to start with a capital letter and end in a punctuation mark, and in that case, it was a period. Let's see if I can fix my board. Okay, here we go. On the back, look at Ben. He's trying, and he finally got to ride it without training wheels. So house 1 says, Ben will try, period. Kind of like we talk about in class. If you don't get it the first time, try again. And apparently that's what Ben did. So you're going to trace it, write it on house 2, and house 3 says, he can ride the bike now. And it's got an exclamation mark. Remember, exclamation mark shows excitement. And our voices change a little bit at the end when we're reading exclamation sentences. So you're going to trace that, and then you're going to write it on house 4. Let's look at our phonics paper. On number 1 at the top, it says circle the special sounds, mark the vowels, read the words. Remember that when you're trying to read a word, you always circle the special sound that you know first, and then you mark the vowel. And that's because some special sounds have vowels in there. So you need to make sure that you are circling special sounds first. They did the first one for you, and then you need to do the other ones by yourself. If you need to pull out your B-book to look at those special sounds, you can do that because this is very good practice. Because these special sounds, you're going to see them in first grade also. And in first grade, you're going to learn new special sounds. So you need to know all of these special sounds that we've been going over in kindergarten. And then you're going to mark those vowels. Remember, if it has one vowel in a word, it usually says it's short sound, mark it with a smile. If there are 2 vowels in a word, the first vowel says it's a long sound, and the second vowel is silent, so we slash it. Make sure that you're marking vowels. There's only 5 vowels that we've been talking about, A, E, I, O, and U. So mark the vowels, and then if it's a special sound, then you're going to circle it, okay? On the bottom right here on number 2, it says to fill in the circle under one word in each line that tells about the picture. We've been practicing this a lot in class, especially when we were practicing learning how to do this for the big test. So this is good practice for us when we're not together. So let's look at your picture right here. Remember that we're going to be answering some things about what is it, where is it, who is it, right? So If you look at it, what is it? Looks like a milk bottle to me. What's on it? Cow right there. Where do you think it is? Looks like a field or maybe a farm, right? So then let's go over here and look at your first row. Clown, cow, count. Which word would go with that picture? Very good. It's the cow, right? So you're going to fill in the circle. Be very careful filling in circles. That was one of the things we're practicing also. Try to stay inside of that circle the best that you can. Now look at this row. Milk, mint, mess. Which one of these words would go with that picture? Right, milk would. So you're going to fill in the circle under milk. Now let's look at these two pictures. I'm going to let you do the words by yourself, but I'm going to talk about these pictures. So let's answer some questions about this picture right here. Some what's, where's, who's, when's. So what is it? Looks like a fishbowl. Who's in it? A fish. Where is it? We don't know that. Probably somebody's house, right? But we can answer the fish is in some water in a fishbowl. So read the words here. Fill in the circle under what would go best with that picture. Same thing for this row. What would go best with this picture? Let's look at this one down here. What is it? It's a kite. Where is it? It's in the sky. What's behind it? There's a cloud. That's about all we know about that one, right? So you're going to do the same thing on this row and this row. There's going to be one word on each row that's going to go with that picture. So carefully fill it in. Let's look on the back of your paper. Let's see if I can do this without knocking it over again. Woo! Okay, here we go. Looky here, we see some writing lines. Remember, when there's writing lines, you have to write. We're not circling or matching anything. So it says to write the word that best completes each sentence. So we went from words that were not finished to sentences that are not finished. So I'm going to read the first one with you, and then I'm going to let you do the others by yourself. So in the green oval right here, they have two words, bus and trip. This is an art trip in class because it doesn't have a capital T on it. So that's not a name. This is a place or a thing, right? So let's look at it. It says we went on a bus or we went on a trip. Oh, that could be either one. That's a little bit tricky. They're trying to trick you on this one. So let's look at the next one. We rode on the bus. We rode on the trip. Well, you can't ride on a trip, can you? But you can ride on a bus. That's right. So you need to make sure that you're doing the correct one, because if you put bus on here, we went on a bus, then this one, trip, doesn't make sense right here. So you're going to write, we went on a trip, we rode on the bus. So you're going to write those on the blanks. Now let's look at the blue one right here. This word is park, and this word is far. This one is boat, and this one is kite. And this is a kind of like a little story. Each sentence will tell a little bit more about what they're doing on their trip. Okay, so be careful that you're not writing the wrong word in there. And if you need to mark special sounds and vowels, you can do that. It's okay. If you don't need to, that's awesome. You don't have to. But if you need to, you can still do that. Okay, go ahead and get out your 2 math papers. Remember that we're doing math papers for Monday and Tuesday. So go ahead and get those out with anything that you might want to count, or maybe your calculator if you've been practicing your calculator. I don't want you to use your calculator unless you have your math facts memorized. Okay, if you have your math facts memorized and you can answer that question very quickly, then you can get your calculator out to check your work. Otherwise, I don't want to see your calculator, okay? So look at your math paper, see what you want to get out to work with, and I'm going to do the same. I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, you should have your math papers out. These are the 2 math papers that we're going to do. Remember, this is for Monday and Tuesday. So this paper was a seat work paper for the week. This was coming out of Monday's. This one is coming out of Tuesday's papers. So let's look at this one first. This one right here, we're writing by tens. It's a lot of practicing by tens on this paper. So we have this cute little bird right here. We have 10 worms in every box. You're going to start out with a number 10. Hopefully you've been practicing counting by 10s, 5s, and 2s all the way to 100. So if you are counting by 10s, then you start at number 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then right here, you're going to start with 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Down here on number 2, this is what we were practicing in class a lot on our papers for the big test. Remember, we were learning how to count by 10s and then whatever was left over, putting it all together. So if you look at the crayon boxes, there's 3 crayon boxes that have 10 crayons each, and there's 3 left over. So you have to circle the number that tells how many in all. So 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33. So you would find 33 right here and circle it. Now I'm going to let you do the jelly beans by yourself. There's 10 jelly beans in this one, 10 jelly beans in this one, and then you have to count how many are left over. Count all of them together, and then circle how many you counted. Down here on number 3, remember that we're practicing adding and subtracting now. So if you're adding, you're putting things together. If you're subtracting, you're taking things away. So hopefully the last couple of weeks, you've been practicing using things around your house, and you don't need those anymore. If you still need those, it's okay. You need to do whatever you can to learn this before you get to first grade. Hopefully, though, you've been practicing your flashcards and IXL too, so that you don't have to use things around your house. The most important thing that you need to look at when you're doing number 3 right here is you need to look at that sign. All of these are plus, and then look, subtract, plus, subtract, plus, plus, subtract, subtract. So you have to watch those signs now, because if you're not careful with those signs, you're going to think that you're supposed to add, and you're going to add it together when you should have subtracted, or vice versa. So be very careful looking at those signs. Okay, let's flip it to the back. This is your Fun with Numbers page. It says to write the answers and then color the picture using the color code right here. So you have to write your answers first. So look at your little deer. You have 6 minus 1, 3 plus 2, 1 plus 2. You have to be careful of those signs, or you're going to get your answer wrong. Make sure that you're looking at your signs, and look, some of them are horizontal, and some of them are vertical. So this would be like horizontal, like your relationship with your shoulder partner. This one would be vertical, up and down, like your relationship with Jesus, right? So be careful that you're looking at that correctly. After you have your answers on your deer, your bush, your flower, your branch, your flower here, your bird, and then sky, you're going to go up here at the key. If the answer is 3, you're going to color that part green. If the answer is 4, it's going to be R-E-D. If it's 5, it's going to be B-R-O-W-N. If you don't know those words yet, circle your special sounds. We learned those words our first 9 weeks of school, so hopefully you don't even have to look at those special sounds. But if you do, circle them out and try to remember what they say. 6 is Y-E-L-L-O-W, and 7 is B-L-U-E. Make sure that you remember that. And also look, it even has the color right here, because they don't realize how smart you are. So make sure that you're practicing those addition and subtraction on there. And then if you do not want to color it and mom and dad don't care, you know I don't care about your coloring, okay? Coloring is very good practice for your fine motor skills, for your fingers. It's really good practice, because if you can color really pretty, you're probably going to be able to write really pretty too. So if you want to color it, it's okay. And if you don't want to color it, I'm not worried about your coloring. I am worried about your pencil work. So make sure that your pencil work looks really good on there. Okay, let's go ahead and look at your other paper to see what we're going to have to do on that paper too. Okay, I'm going to turn you back over a little bit. Here we go. Okay, let's look at your other paper here. I'm going to take your little deer off so that I've got some more room, and I'm going to pull your other paper in. So your other paper has the frogs and the snails and the cute little ducklings at the bottom. So look at this paper right here. On the top right here, pretty easy stuff, it's adding. Now this is the 10 family. Okay, so hopefully you've been practicing that. We practiced that in class. So if it's a 10 family, then everything, all of the answers are what? That's right, they're gonna be 10, but I need you to double check. So hopefully you don't have to use your circles anymore, your dots. Hopefully you don't have to use any of your counters anymore. But if you need to, you can go ahead and do that. It's still good practice. But I also need you to be practicing those flashcards and IXL, because when you get to first and second grade, you're going to be adding numbers that are bigger than however many fingers and dots and things that you can draw. So you need to be knowing this right off the top of your head, okay? Here we go. On number 2, we're going to fill in the missing numbers. So you have to figure out what they're counting by first. So let's look at your frogs. 20, 30, 40. So that means they're counting by tens. So what would come after 40? Find the number right here and fill in the circle. Let's look at your snails. 5, 10, blank, 20, 25. So who can tell me what they're counting by? Lena, can you tell me what are they counting by on here? Well, if you said they're counting by 5s, kiss your brain because you're super smart today. They are counting by 5s. So 5, 10, you have to figure out what comes next and fill in the circle of what comes next on here. Now, this one right here is a little bit different. We've only done about one of these that look like this. So on number 3 at the bottom, it says to circle the combination that goes with the picture. So I'm going to give you just a second to be looking at that combination and see if we can figure out what goes with the picture on these right here at the bottom. Okay, so look at it for just a second. You have 3 ducklings in the water. You have 2 ducklings on land. Okay, you ready? Okay, let's look at this one. 5 minus 5 equals 0. Well, that would be okay if there were 5 in the water and then 5 got out, but there's not. There's still 3 in the water and 2 here, so we can't use that one. So don't look at that one anymore. Okay, let's look at this one. 2 plus 4 equals 6. There's 3 here and 2 here, so that can't be right because it says 2 plus 4. So don't look at that one. That one cannot be right either. Let's look at this one. 5 minus 1 equals 4. Well, that would be okay if there were 5 ducklings here and 1 left, and there were 4 still in the water, but there's not. There's only 1, 2, 3. So that one can't be it either. Let's look at this one. 3 plus 2 equals 5. 1, 2, 3. There's 3. Plus 1, 2. There's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. So that's your answer. That's the one you're going to circle. 3 plus 2 equals 5. So that's the one that you're going to circle. We haven't done very many of those. We've only done like one other one. So this is good practice for us. So let's go ahead and turn it over to the back. Okay, on the back right here, number 1 is to circle the flower that has a B to the right. Okay, we've been practicing our right and left a lot in class, and I've sent papers home for some of you who needed to practice a little bit more. So hopefully you have been practicing those left and right since that happened. So I did not have a bee and a flower, but I had a cute little frog and an apple. So we're going to practice this a little bit before we do that one. So here's my apple and here's my frog. So is my frog to the left or the right of the apple? So remember that when you're doing left and right, if you can't remember, do your L's. So which one is the correct L? That one is. So this one is on the left. That means this one's on the right. So is my frog on the left of the apple or the right of the apple? That's right, it's on the left of the apple. Now if I were to move my frog over here, is my frog on the left of the apple or the right of the apple? That's right, my frog's on the right of the apple. So make sure that you're practicing your left and right. It doesn't have to be with anything like I have. You can practice that with anything. We've done it at school with toothbrushes and toothpaste. We've done it with pictures of milk jugs. Goodness, we've done it on IXL. So there are lots of different things that you can be practicing your right and left. We even did a song, remember? Marching. Remember that song? When we're marching and left foot, right foot, marching. Remember that? So you can be practicing that too. So we practice a whole bunch of left and right stuff. So let's look at your paper and see what they're asking about which one is left and which one is right, or exactly what they are wanting us to do. So let's look at your flower and your bee. So on your flower and bee right here, it says circle the flower that has a bee to the right. Remember, do your L's if you're not sure. So we need the one that's on the right. So this is left, this is right. So is this bee on the left or the right of the flower? Yeah, this one's on the left, so it can't be that one. Let's look at this one. This bee's not even on the left or right. It's on top of the flower, so it can't be that one. Let's look at this one. Is the bee on the left or the right of the flower? Correct, it's on the right of the flower. So you're gonna circle this flower right here because the bee is on the right of the flower. Okay, let's look at number 2. It says to match the coins with what they're going to buy. So first you need to figure out what coin that is. So if you look on the front of it, it's got Thomas Jefferson on the front. And if you look on the back, it has Monticello. So if it has that on there, what coin can it be? It's going to be the nickel. Remember, if you're counting nickels, you're counting by what? You're counting by 5s. Nickel, nickel. Do you remember? Okay, well, say it with me. Nickel, nickel, thick and fat. You're worth 5 cents. I know that, right? So it's going to be the nickels. So you're going to be counting by 5s. So you have to figure out how many nickels there are and how much that is there, and then draw a line to what you can buy. So let's look at it and see. Okay, so this is kind of like a little fruit store, a little fruit stand, and Miss Palmer's selling an apple for 20 cents, a pear for 35 cents, and strawberries for 15 cents. So I'm going to do the first one, and then you're going to do the other ones. 5, 10, 15. So what can I buy for 15 cents? That's right, it's going to be the strawberries. So I'm going to draw a line from 15 to the strawberries. Now I want you to do these by yourself. Down here on number 3, you're just going to add. That's it, just adding those together. On number 4, it says circle the number that is the most. So right here, if you need to get out your hundreds chart, you can do that. If you don't, oh, I'm so sorry. If you don't need to get out your hundreds chart, don't worry about that. But we're going to circle the number that's the most. So remember, the number that is the most is the highest number. So we're going to do the first one together, and then you're going to do the next 2 by yourself. So 12, 7, and 21. So which one is the highest number? Which one is the most? Owen, do you know which one is the most? Okay, if you said 21 was the most, Kish Rain, that's correct. 21 is the highest number. So you're going to circle 21. You're going to do the same thing on the yellow oval and on the pink oval. Okay, that ends our phonics and our math. So now we're going to do some reading, because remember, this is for Monday and Tuesday. So go ahead and get out your reader, and we're going to do your reader together. Okay, so you should have out your reader. It is your green reader, this one right here, book number 4. And we stopped on page 5. So we stopped on this page. So I need you to go ahead and open up to page 6, and we're going to read I Can Help. Now remember, I'm not with you in your group, so I'm reading to the whole class. So I have to read a little bit slower for some other friends. So if you read faster, try to slow down a little bit to get to read how I'm reading. And then when you read it to someone else, you can read it faster. But remember that I'm looking for expression. I'm looking to see how you're saying those words, and I'm looking to see if you are using that expression when you're reading. So let's look at page 6. We're gonna read I Can Help, and then we're going to read the story on page 7, and that's all we're gonna do for Tuesday's reading work, okay? So number 6, page 6, here we go. Ready? Together. I can help. Now that I am big, I can help Mom clean the car. It is a hard job, but I will not quit. I will do my best. Mom and Dad will be proud of me. Okay, so it looks like a little boy there. What is he doing? Yeah, he's washing the car. He's helping Mom and Dad. And he is being a good helper. And he's saying, even though it's a hard job, he's not going to quit because he's doing it for who? He's not really doing it for Mom and Dad. He wants to help them, but he's not going to quit because he's working unto the Lord. And when we're working unto the Lord, we aren't going to just give up and quit. We're going to keep working hard. And it says that Mom and Dad is going to be proud of them. And we know that if he's doing it with a happy heart, that pleases God too. It's not just pleasing Mom and Dad, but that's pleasing Jesus also. So let's go ahead and look on page 7. Now remember, when we're done, I want you to read these stories to someone at home. Okay, you can even read to your pet animal, or you can read it to a stuffed animal. It's okay if you want to read it to them, but I need you to read it to a grown-up also. Okay, so that grown-up can help you with any words that you may have trouble with. Okay, let's look on page 7. We're going to read about a truck ride. Ready? Together. A truck ride. Drive the truck to town. Do not make it swerve. We must slow down on the curves. Do not drive on a nail. The tire will go flat. We will stop and fill up with gas. Okay, so I saw one exclamation mark there, and so I used with a little bit of expression because they were a little bit nervous that if they drove over a what? A nail, what's going to happen to that tire? The tire's going to go flat. So where are they going in the truck? Where did the story tell us that they were going? That's right, they're going to town, and they need to go slowly around something. If you're driving a car, or if you're in the car with Mom or Dad or whoever you're with, and you're going around a curve, remember we talked about a curve, that you need to go a little bit slower, because if you don't, you're going to miss that curve and you're going to go off the road. So you need to go a little bit slower on the curves. Okay, so those two are the only stories that we are reading for Tuesday. Now, when we do our reading for Wednesday, we're going to read pages 8 through 11. Okay, 8 through 11. So today we're going to stop right there. And I want you to read those stories to a grown-up, and then I want you to practice a couple of more. Don't be nervous to read. Reading, remember, is so much fun, and it takes you so many different places, and you can pretend to be so many different people and things. So have fun with your reading, and don't forget to be reading those AR books, because I know some of you have already met your goal. So if you have already met your goal, way to go. That is fantastic. If you have not met your goal yet, don't forget to be practicing on those AR stories so that you can meet your goal, okay? Okay, that is it for today. I love you so much, and I'm going to see you again tomorrow. I'm going to wear my same awesome onesie pajamas all week for the videos. So if you want to do the same, you can. Don't forget to send me those awesome pictures. I love you so much, and I'll see you again in a little bit.